Are y'all here to make some noise for fairness today? Great to see so many friendly and wonderful faces out there. Today's a great day. Today marked the formal end of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in our military. And it's also the day that we celebrate and demand fairness here in Berea. All of the eyes of Kentucky are on this small town. This small town with such a storied history and legacy of standing for civil rights down through the years, standing on the side of African Americans, standing on the side of women, standing on the side of religious freedom. And now we're here to stand on the side of fairness. So now tell me, how many of you all believe that you should be able to hold a job and not risk being fired if you are perceived to be LGBT? Right? And to be able to rent a house without being afraid of being evicted. And then, of course, just the simple act of going out to eat, going to a restaurant. That is a basic human right. So we're here today to say that fairness is a family value, fairness is a religious value, fairness is a Berea value. So before we get started here, just a couple of quick announcements. We need a handful of volunteers who would just be willing to go on down to the municipal building where the council meeting will take place to sort of stand in line and be able to have a presence in the room. So if anyone is able and willing to do that, if you could go back to the tent there and sort of organize. And then also we have these really great t-shirts back there, and they are there for a suggested donation. We don't want to put a monetary amount on that. If you have something to donate, that would be great. If not, that's great as well. So go back there and get you a t-shirt and wear blue. We need to wear our color. So now I'm just going to get out of the way and turn it over to the wonderful speakers and musicians we have here today who represent different portions of Berea. But I want to leave you with one question. Since we're here for fairness, what do we want tonight? Fairness. When do we want it?
We owe a huge debt of gratitude to all the people who've helped us get organized, because while I believe as a pastor of this church, I know what it is in the power of community. When communities come together for purposes of bringing out the love and the peace and the grace and the justice, there is no force on earth that can keep it down for very long. This is our history, Berea. When the founders of this town gathered on a hillside, this hillside, and they said, we're going to end discrimination and slavery in a country and in a county where it was not only permitted but promoted, people said, you can't do that. And Bereans said, yes, we can. And Bereans did it, along with a lot of help and a lot of others. And so here's what I want to remind us today. We don't like making trouble. We're just good at it. We don't like calling out things that are not right or just, but we will not stop doing it. Am I right? Until the laws are the same for every single Berea citizen, until the discrimination stops against every single person, regardless of their age, their gender, their sexual orientation, their gender expression, or any other ism you want to throw at it, until that stops, we cannot stop. Our faith will not let us, our friends will not let us, and fairness will not let us. I hope that you will see today not just as the end of something, not the culmination, but the beginning of a strong and powerful community stepping forward to include everyone equally in that community. If you are willing to be fair, if you are willing to stand for fairness, if you are willing to walk until fairness is achieved, just give you a great big hoop and holler right now, because we are going to begin a fairness rally.
Hey, Berea. Thank you guys for coming out. Is this on?
Get right up here.
It's on. Okay. Let's hop in here tonight. I'm Deborah Payne, and this is Megan Nosman, and we're two-thirds of a little band called Sugar Tree. We are so proud to see all these beautiful faces out here. We're going to sing a song. It's a little slower, and then we're going to pick it up with a fiddle tune. Deborah wrote both of these. You should know. May we walk, just walk. May we find a truer peace. May we hold the light for love in our hands. As the earth is covered with water and the rock turned into sand, may we work until we slumber in God's hands. May we walk, just walk. May we find a truer peace. May we hold the light for love in our hands. As the earth is covered with water and the rock turned into sand, may we work until we slumber in God's hand. May we work until we slumber in God's hand.
What do we want? Come on, they can't hear you at City Hall. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Hi everybody, I'm Meta Mendel-Reyes. I'm a professor, I'm a mother, I'm a lesbian, and I'm a proud Berea resident. My partner can't be here today because she's recovering from a massive heart attack. I bet I'm not the only person in this crowd that has a loved one who's been suffering from a big illness. Am I right? Right. Well, that's the reason fairness is so important to me. Let me tell you my unfairness story. When I first came to Berea, my employer did not have domestic partner benefits, and that meant that we did not have health insurance for my partner. For 2 long years, we kept hoping against hope that the heart disease would not come back, that we'd be able to make it. On prescription drugs alone, we must have spent $2,000 a year. $2,000 that other people at my workplace didn't have to spend, only because they were not lesbians, and gay persons like I am. That's why we need fairness. You know what? A lot of people think history's already been made. Everything important has already been done. John Fee did it. There's no need for any more history in Berea. Well, that's not true. Our brothers and sisters in the military, they showed us history is being made every day. History is being made today with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Now, I want you to do something. I want you to do something now. I want you to look down at your feet right now. Come on, everybody. Look down. Look down. See that spot of ground that you're looking at? On that spot, history is being made today, September 20th, 2011. You know why history is being made? Because people are standing up for fairness in our town in Berea. What do we want? When do we want it?
And as you all know, we'll be marching after this portion concludes down to the City Council. But there is a special election that's happening this year in a couple of months for one seat on the City Council. So we at Bereans for Fairness extended an invitation to the 5 candidates who are running to come and to spend a couple of minutes speaking in favor of fairness. And we had one person accept our invitation, and here he is, Mr. Guy Townsend.
None of us are free unless all of us are free. And right now, in the second decade of the 21st century, Berea's gay and lesbian citizens are not free. They are not free to rent an apartment. They are not free to eat in a restaurant. They are not free to hold a job in Berea if the people who run those businesses, the apartments, the restaurants, and the businesses that people would otherwise work, are willing to deprive these people of those freedoms. And this must cease. That's why this gathering here today is so important. We are here today to tell Berea's mayor and the members of Berea's City Council that kicking the can down the road on the fairness issue is simply not acceptable. This is Berea, Kentucky, where the unapologetic and abrasive abolitionist John G. Fee took his stand against the major injustice of his day, and where we today must follow his example and send the unmistakable message to our city officials that we are not going away. We must borrow the words that another reformer uttered 5 centuries ago, and each of us say, "Here I stand, I can do no other." And let us never forget the eternal words, the eternal truth expressed in Bruce Springsteen's rousing rendition of Jacob's Ladder. We are brothers and sisters all. Freedom.
And this is my friend Jordan Engel, and we support fairness. Alright, y'all sing with me. I'm gonna teach it to you. God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? Sing it. God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave Noah Won't be the water but the fire next time.
Won't be the water but the fire next time.
Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me.
Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me.
All right. God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? Y'all sing. God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, won't be the water but the fire next time. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. I've got a home in that rock. I've got a home in that rock, don't you see? I've got a home in that rock, don't you see? I've got a home in that rock, just beyond the mountain top. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. Chorus. God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, won't be the water but the fire next time. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. Poor old Noah planted in the vine, don't you see? Poor old Noah planted in the vine, don't you see? Poor old Noah planted in the vine, and it grew to be a tree in time. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, won't be the water but the fire next time. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. When this world is all on fire, hide thou me. When this world's all on fire, hide thou me. When this world's all on fire, let my bosom be thy pillow. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, won't be the water but the fire next time. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. One more. God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God give Noah the rainbow sign, won't be the water but the fire next time. Hide me, oh rock of ages, cleft for me. Paul and Silas were bound in jail, had no money for to go their bail. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Only thing that we did wrong, stayed in the wilderness too long. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Only thing that we did right is the day we begun to fight. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and
Kentucky, and I'm a junior at Berea College. I'm proud to serve as the president of the Harvey Milk Society, and I am very proud to be here today because I believe in fairness, equality, and compassion. Before I begin, I would like to read something to you all that I was just handed a few minutes ago. Our Student Government Association has just passed this resolution concerning the Fairness Ordinance. They say, "We hereby acknowledge and encourage the City of Berea in their exploration of a Fairness Ordinance. From our college's founding over 150 years ago, we have stood for equality and the protection of human rights. This Fairness Ordinance would not only protect and serve the minority, but also the majority. No matter if you are heterosexual or homosexual, black or white, man or woman, Christian or non-Christian, this ordinance will protect us all." I think that's wonderful. I'm here speaking to you all today because as a student of Berea College, I feel like it is something I have to do. It is the right thing to do. My fellow students and I are part of this college's history now, and the history has become a part of us. Our school was founded by activists who broke down the boundaries of society in order to do what they felt was right. They believed all people deserved to be treated equally and to be given a fair opportunity, and that is exactly why we are here now, over 150 years later. Berea has always been on the front of the line, fighting for groups of people who face discrimination and injustice. We have always been the fighters, the group that has been put smack dab in the middle of the controversy. These ideas are a part of us. They are one of the reasons why we were all drawn to this beautiful school and this wonderful town. And they are what has moved us all to come out to this rally and demand fairness. We believe our town should reflect the ethics and the ideas it was founded on. We love what Berea stands for, and we will not let her down. Since being at Berea College, the school's motto has become ingrained in me. It sticks and it works because it is true. God has made of one blood all peoples of the earth. There is no exception to that rule, and there should be no exception in the law. No matter what hateful people may say, no matter how many laws stand in the way, we know that motto is the truth. This is the civil rights movement of my generation, and I cannot let my voice go unheard. If we stay quiet and do not speak out at injustices, we are letting everyone down. Our friends, our family, our children, our partners, and ourselves. We do not come with a message of hate and oppression. Instead, we bring a message of love and acceptance. These are not special rights or gay rights. These are human rights. What we are asking for already exists, but has not been extended to everyone, and that is what needs to change. It makes me so happy to see so many familiar faces from campus, of friends, faculty, and staff. I worry about all of you, all of us, and that is another reason why I must be here today. I worry about our safety. On campus, for the most part, we're safe. If an instance were to come up of discrimination, everyone here would jump to help a member of our Berea family. But what happens when we go to town? Are we still safe there? No, we're not. We are in danger of being judged because someone might not like the way we look or talk or the company we keep. They can kick us out of their businesses, deny us a home or a job because of their cruel assumptions, and according to the law, that's okay. Some students have to live off campus. Dorm life might not be safe, or they might have a health problem that keeps them from staying on campus. What are those students supposed to do if they're denied an apartment that they need because someone just doesn't like the way they look? The job market is terrifying already, like it is to so many of my friends and my classmates, and this only makes it scarier. It is a shame that people have to choose between being the person they truly are and putting food on the table for their loved ones and their children. To all of you here with your blue on and your messages of peace and love, I want to say this. No matter what, we are winning. We will win no matter what it takes. We cannot be discouraged and we cannot give up. Never let anyone make you feel like less of a human being. If you give them that, they will walk all over you. Standing up for what you believe in is one of the hardest things to do, and every one of you has done it. And for that, I admire you. Thank you so much for letting me talk to you, and thank you so much for coming out. It was a pleasure. Thanks.
Adonma Barton. I teach theater at Berea College, and I believe in fairness. I moved to Berea with my husband, hey baby, in 2009 because we believe in this community. And I believe in all of my students, like the fantastic Megan Jones that you just saw. And, excuse me, I get a little overwhelmed because I love my students and I love Berea, Kentucky. And I do not know what else to do when I see so much hate and ignorance. All I can do is show an outpouring of love. So thank you all today for coming. My students should be able to graduate. They should be able to rent an apartment, eat in a restaurant, obtain a job without fear. Fear of being removed because they are perceived to be homosexual, y'all. This is not the time to live in fear. This is the time to live in love. I know that this is a passionate subject for all of us, but let us not be confused. This is not a debate about homosexuality. This is about human rights. The Fairness Ordinance is about human rights, and we all, as human beings, should have equal rights and equal protections. Not special, but most definitely equal. I have a quote here from Bell Hooks, who wished she could be here today with us. Bell wanted everybody to know that a rich and diverse community exists when there is justice, and justice requires fairness. Fairness for everyone. Even in elementary schools, even in preschools, we teach our children the importance of being fair and that the concept of fairness is important to democracy. Berea, Kentucky has made its mark in the nation and in the world as an exemplary community of fairness. And what is my truth? My truth is that in Berea, Kentucky, we all are responsible to ensure that there will be equal rights and equal access for all human citizens. Thank you very much, and God bless Berea, Kentucky.
Hello, my name is Mitch Barrett. I'm happy to be here. I'm an outer towner. I live out in Blue Lick. but I'm proud to see my community standing up. The other day I had the honor of hearing a dear friend tell a story, a fellow named Ron Short. Ron got to march with Rosa Parks, and he was telling a story about how these college students were all sitting around her feet, and they said, "Rosa, do you really think one person can change the world?" And she said, "I think that's the only way we can change the world." And the college student said, "So we should protest and we should organize." And she said, "Well, you can do that, but that's not what I meant. What I meant was you got to change you, and you will change the world." So when our hearts are broken because of certain things that have happened in town, but we got to remember, in our broken heart, we got to seal that crack and not let our own prejudice drift in there about these folks that are fighting against us. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Or maybe we should all go to their churches, yeah. Show them we love them. It's a crazy world we live in. Bad news all around. Brothers and sisters, if we're gonna make a difference, we're gonna have to stand our ground. Be a drop in the bucket, and a bucket in the pond, and the pond fills the river, and the river rushes on. And the river swells the river till the power can't be stopped. What becomes a mighty ocean started as a drop. Down in Alabama, a lady boarded a bus. The driver said, "You're black, you gotta sit in the back." Rosa said, "I've had enough." Yeah, she was a drop in the bucket, and a bucket in the pond, and the pond fills the river, and the river rushes on. And the river swells the river until the power can't be stopped. What becomes a mighty ocean started as a drop. In the alleys of Calcutta, Mother Teresa lived her life. She did much more than feed the poor. She taught us how to shine our light. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah. This little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. 'Cause we're a drop in the bucket, and a bucket in the pond, and the pond fills the river, and the river rushes on. Every river swells a river till the power can't be stopped. What becomes a mighty ocean? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Katrina Martyr, and I stand on the side of love, and I support fairness. Many of you have heard me speak out about the loss of my job as a Madison County teacher because of my relationship with my partner. As I was considering what I might say today at this rally, or whether I even felt comfortable speaking out again, I'm usually a very private person and have a hard time speaking in front of crowds unless they're little. I found myself feeling guilty, though, for that thought, because I shouldn't ever consider not speaking out. I may not be employed by a particular school or have a physical classroom of my own, but I do owe it to my children, to my students, to stand up for their future. I made a promise when I decided to be a teacher, much like that of other service-oriented occupations, to hold myself to a high standard and always live my life with integrity and from my heart. And I intend to keep that promise to my students and all the children that I come across in my life. As I contemplated this, I thought of a particular student I had during one of my years teaching. This student was labeled immediately as difficult, angry, and troublesome. Teachers discussed his tantrums during their daily gossip and rarely ever made an effort to reach out to him, deeming him unteachable. These are the students I cherished working with the most because these are the students you can make the biggest impact with. Upon entering my classroom, the student started the year the same way he had every other year, angry and withdrawn. Immediately, I invited him to be part of the movement group that I had come up with that performed at EKU Dance Theater every semester, and surprisingly, he agreed. It was this special attention and this acknowledgement of his self-worth that really transformed him from troubled to talented, from withdrawn to engaged, and from angry to enthusiastic. During his last performance with EKU Dance Theater and with our small group, he told me that he planned on attending EKU as a college student so that he could continue dancing. That's a huge impact. It's a huge change in a life that wouldn't have been there otherwise. From time to time, I see his mother, and she fills me in on the successes of his middle school career and how he still continues to strive for college, and he's working really hard. And I just become overwhelmed with joy. Imagine the contributions that this child has to offer our community with such a positive outlook on life and so many gifts and talents that he actually found because of the opportunities he was given. And then I think about the fact that that could all be taken away if he decided to come out as gay or bisexual or transgendered or questioning. And it makes me angry. He could choose to begin working at 16 years old in order to save money to attend EKU, like his dreams are right now. And he could be fired for communicating to a friend or a family member that he's gay or questioning. Or what message will this send to him? What will he want to offer this community after that? And why should he even think about offering anything to a community that holds him down? If his own community isn't giving him the same opportunities as it's giving every other person here, why should he care? This child represents so many of our children in our community and so many others. So although I was nervous about speaking today, I know that I owe it to my students, former and future. They deserve to grow up in a fair, nurturing, and encouraging community, and we deserve to reap the benefits of their talent. If you think Berea is such a talent-filled place now, imagine what it would be like when people in our community can be free to live exactly who they are and can really give their best without fear. So this journey may be long and tiring and frustrating, but I made a promise to my students, and I intend to keep that regardless of all the challenges. Thank you.
I'm Silas House, and I'm here because I believe in fairness and I believe in Berea. And I've spoken all over the place in front of every kind of audience, and I don't think I've ever been more emotionally overwhelmed in front of an audience, mainly because when I look out at so many people that I know out in the audience who are such good people, especially my students who deserve everything that everybody deserves. And to know that they don't have that at this moment is hard for me to take. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I want to try to get through this speech. If I get through it, it's just because, if I don't get through it, it's because I'm overwhelmed by how much love is pouring off y'all, not because I'm sad. One day this summer, I sat on my front porch writing while listening to my neighbor, Megan, playing her banjo on her own porch. My neighbor, Eunice, was on her porch reading. In a few minutes, I was called over to my next door neighbor, Nathan's house, to steady a ladder for him while he worked on his roof. I was joined by two more neighbors from the corner, Meta and Judith, a real community, different people of different ethnicities, ages, backgrounds, religions, and orientations, living together on one street, unified by our love and belief in a place. That's why when I first heard about the proposal for a fairness ordinance, that I believed there was no reason to be concerned. This is Berea, I thought. We don't need that in Berea. This is the Center for Abolition in the Upper South, a place of diversity where people seem to live together not despite their differences, but because of them. I thought, we won't need to do that, and even if we do, it'll pass easily, because people here are not weighed down with those misconceptions of the other being evil and bad. But then I sat in horror and watched at the first public forum on the proposal of the ordinance, and I knew that we very much needed it because a few vocal people have proven that we need it. But all of that hurtful, hateful talk has not done what it set out to do. Instead, that kind of divisive talk has created this positive, a community that we see here today, neighbors united in our belief in equality, compassion, the dignity of all people. We are gathered here on the lawn of this historic church, a church I'm proud to call my church. And we are young and old and everything in between. We're black and white, gay and straight, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Muslim, atheist, Democrat, Republican, white collar, blue collar. We're from every corner of the world. Most of all, we're neighbors. And most of all, we are Bereans. And we are united in our devotion to the belief that all people are equal. When a young man came to me in tears a few months ago and told me that he had been called a faggot by two men driving down Chestnut Street in a rumbling pickup, myself and others gathered around him as a community. When the infamous and awful Rebel Run incident happened, and the racist and cowardly car vandalization took place, we gathered as neighbors and we stood against that, united. We stood against that hatred. So we've seen the way that our town reacts to injustice. I have seen Bereans go into action and stand up for their neighbors. I'm looking out at you and I see a town not divided, but united. United in its belief in equality. I still believe in Berea. I believe in my neighbors. I still believe that we are a progressive place of acceptance and compassion and equality and fairness. I believe that those who are so loudly shouting and sneering at us are a small but hateful group that mean to represent Berea but misrepresent it. I believe in Berea, and I won't let anyone take that away from me. Although some claim that Christianity only belongs to those who think like them, I too am a Christian, and I won't let anybody take that away from me either. So let's remember, as we walk up that little hill toward the city council meeting, why we are marching. Not in the spirit of hatred or division. We are rallying and marching in the spirit of love and acceptance. We stand here and march together to show that we love and accept each other, those who are different from us, even those who call us names. We are neighbors united by the universal covenant of the Golden Rule, recognized by all religious groups and value groups, the belief that we should do unto our neighbors as we would have them do unto us. We will fight for the mission and spirit of this town. Today, we march for Berea.
Are y'all ready to march? I didn't hear you. Are you ready to march? Let's take this little soiree down the road. All right. Just a few instructions before everybody leaves. The people who spoke, go grab a banner out here. We're going to put them out in front. Everyone stay behind the banners. Everyone stay in one big group. We want to show that we have volume and numbers. So are you all ready to chant? Are y'all ready to holler? All right. The police police are going to be there. People are going to be allowed in until the building is full, and then we are going to gather on the steps of the building, on the yard, on the sidewalk. This issue is at the top of the agenda, so we're going to stay and we're going to let the council members know that we are there. So, let's march!
This is what democracy looks like!